Pew, pew, pew. Gamma 2 started shooting lasers at each other, while flying through the air, dodging as best as they could. Well, this is getting me nowhere, Gamma 2 said as he holstered his blaster, and charged at Frisia. Hiya! Frieza grabbed him with psychic powers, freezing him for a moment, before throwing him down towards the ground, and then flying after him. TCH. Damn, he is way stronger than the files say he should be, Gamma 2 said while he tried to fight against Frisia's psychic hold, as he was hurtling towards the ground, to no avail. Ah, shit. Time to brace for impact. Slam! Gamma 2 hit the ground like a small meteor, causing the ground to shake as if an earthquake was happening, and a massive cloud of dirt and dust, as high as a building, exploded upwards. Ugh. Am I sure glad I don't feel pain, Gamma 2 said as he pulled himself up, standing in a crater the size of a parking lot. Then he looked up and saw Frieza barreling down towards him, his body covered in energy. Oh. Gamma 2 barely managed to jump back, avoiding Frieza crashing into the ground, making the crater deeper and bigger. The android then rushed forward while Frieza was picking himself up, and grabbed his tail. Then Gamma 2 picked Frieza up over his head, and slammed him into the dirt as hard as possible, before repeating the process, again and again. Grr! Frieza forced himself to stop in the air, keeping Gamma 2 from slamming him before flying up and shooting down beams from his hands. HAA! Gamma 2 flew up and started flying through the forest, while Frieza kept trying to blast him, and missed each time, destroying chunks of forest with each attack. While Gamma 2 was dodging the attack, he was charging up his blaster with energy from his fractals, and after half a minute of dodging, he flew up and aimed his blaster at Frisia. Let's try this. Pew! Frieza used his psychic power to stop the blast before it hit him, but Gamma 2 flew behind him, and kicked him in the back, sending him flying into the blast, which exploded on impact, creating a big cloud of smoke. Heh, how do you like those apples? Gamma 2 taunted at the smoke cloud. Then, from the smoke, a razor-sharp disc of purple energy flew out at Gamma 2. Whoa! Gamma 2 barely managed to duck in time, as the disc flew over her head. But then, the disc turned around and started flying back toward the android. Ah, crap! Ah, crap! Ah, crap! Gamma 2 started flying away from the disc as fast as he could, moving around to try and lose it, but it would continue following him. Pew! 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 Gamma 2 tried shooting the disc, but it just cut his shots in half and kept chasing him. Oh, that is so annoying. He started flying up, higher and higher, letting the disc get a bit closer before he turned around and started flying down, the disc continuing to follow him. Then when he got very close, he swerved and flew to the side, making the disc slam into the ground, and explode. Ha! Sucks to suck. Gamma 2 shouted out in celebration of finally having destroyed that stupid disc. I wouldn't celebrate just yet. Gamma 2 looked up and saw Frieza holding up 2 of those purple energy discs, and immediately his face fell. Oh come on. XXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXX transformed feet that carried its mass at alarming speeds. All the while he was charging his blaster. "Hey, Gamma 1, you finished with that guy yet?" Gamma 2 said over comms. "Not yet. I need this attack to be at full power." Gamma 1 replied. "Well, could you hurry up? I've got a bit of a problem here." Gamma 2 shouted. "Stupid purple disc. Gah, that almost cut my arm off." "Hurry up, 1. Gamma 1 sighed. Careless as ever. Zip. His blaster started glowing with energy, signifying it was at max power. "Alright, time to finish this," Gamma 1 said, as he flew higher into the air, and aimed his blaster at the monster. "Farewell. Catch him." Suddenly a massive ball of energy exploded put for the blaster, and hurtled down at Destro. The former leader shot out stress tendrils at it, but they were immediately burned away, as soon as they touched the ball. The attack landed, hitting Destro dead on. Crack-'em! The blast exploded into a giant dome of energy, expanding out in all directions, and eradicating anything it touched. After a minute, the blast died down, and Gamma 1 looked at the area, to confirm the kill. The entire area had been reduced to a burnt wasteland, nothing but charred black dirt remained. That, and some little bits of Destro's black mass, that started to dissipate into the air. My Idoriaya, gasped what remained of Destro's face, before it dissipated, into nothing. "Kill confirmed," Gamma 1 said as he holstered his gun. Now, let's see what Two's gotten himself into. XXXXXXXXXXXXXXXX. Ha. Tiger Claw took labored breaths as he stared down Protoman. Tiger Claw was covered in burns and cuts, and one of his eyes was gouged out and leaking blood. Protoman was covered in cuts, that sparks were flying out off, and his shield was absolutely covered in claw marks. This battle was lost for you before it began, Protoman said. Surrender. I won't give you another chance. I'd soon die, Tiger Claw said as he got on all fours. But if I do, I'll take you with me. He leapt at Protoman, but as he got into the air, Giza grabbed his tail and threw him back towards the door. Tiger Claw landed on his back, right in front of Sori, who had her foot raised up. Good night. Slam! Sori slammed her foot down, right in his face, causing blood to explode out of his nose and mouth, knocking him out. What took you so long? Protoman said, as he lowered his cannon. Ninjas, lots of ninjas. Sori said. But, that should be just about all of them. Protoman, come in. What is your status? Izuku asked over comms. Still battle ready, sir. With minimal damage. Protoman reported. Then I need you to get onto Monstra. Immediately. Izuku said. I need you to make sure the children are okay, and report the situation. Understood. Protoman nodded before he was covered in light, as he teleported out. XXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXX finished charging his blaster and aimed it at the disc before firing it at the disc, making an explosion that destroyed both of them. Alright. Gamma 2 celebrated. Again, with the presumptuous pre-celebrations? Said Frisia's voice from behind him. Gamma 2 quickly turned around and aimed his gun at Frieza, only to once again get frozen by Frieza's psychic power. Ah, damn it, this is getting old. You're right. Frieza laughed, as he used one hand to hold Gamma 2 in place and the other to form another purple disc. Honestly, Android, I should thank you for helping me test the limits of my new power. As a reward, I'll take your torn up pieces to my brother, and have him rebuild you, so that way you can follow a superior master. Gamma 2 tried to force himself to move against Frisia's power, but it was no use. Frieza moved the disc up and started bringing it towards Gamma 2's neck. Slowly, getting closer, and closer, and closer. Pow! Just before the disc could reach his neck, Gamma 1 flew in, and punched Frieza in the face, sending him flying to the left and freeing Gamma 2, who immediately hit the bottom of the disc with his knee, sending it up, before shooting the flat side of it and making it explode. Phew. About time you showed up. Gamma 2 responded. I was about to have my head lobbed off. Less talking, more fighting. Gamma 1 said as he pulled out his blaster, and started shooting Frieza. Frieza put his arms up to guard against the blast that was pelting him, before he flew upwards, and started dodging them while firing some blasts of his own. The two Gammas moved aside to dodge the blasts before Gamma 2 flew in at Frieza once more. Gamma 2 threw a punch at Frieza which Frieza caught, but then Gamma 2 blasted him point blank in the stomach, causing him to gasp in pain, giving Gamma 1 the opening to come in and kick him in the head, sending him flying. Frieza stopped himself mid-air, only to get kicked down by Gamma 2 from above, sending him crashing into the dirt, and creating another crater in the forest. Gamma 2 charged down with a diving kick, and Frieza managed to flip away just in time to avoid it, but Gamma 2 immediately flew back, as Gamma 1 unleashed a charged blast right at Frieza. Kaboom! The blast created another huge blast of smoke and dirt, which an enraged Frieza instantly flew out of, rushing right at Gamma 1. Gamma 1 tried to move away, but Frieza froze him in place with his psychic powers and started forming another disc, when he found himself getting repeatedly shot in the face by blasts from Gamma 2, causing him to lose focus and release Gamma 1, who rushed forward and kicked Frieza in the face, sending him right back down to Earth. Geez, we sure are making a lot of craters, huh? Gamma 2 pointed out. Focus! Gamma 1 shouted as he aimed his blaster down at the crater, waiting for the dust to settle and visibility to be restored. But when the dust died down, all they saw was Frieza on his knees, coughing up blood. Ahahack! Ack! Frieza felt all his limbs become far heavier, as he returned to his base form once more, before collapsing completely. What's happening? Why can't I move? Looks like he's done. Gamma 2 said the androids descended down to the ground. Gamma 1 did a scan of Frisia's body. I see. You've gone well over your limits, and now you're paying the price. Your body's shutting down. You'll be dead in a minute. What? Frieza croaked through blood coming out of his mouth, as he looked up at the Gammas with a desperate, fearful look. And no. Please. Help me. I can't die here. I am Dash. Boom. Gamma 1 blasted Frieza's head, causing it to blow up like a pumpkin, killing him instantly. That's the only help we can offer you, Gamma 1 said as he holstered his blaster. Whoa. Little cold, don't you think, one? Gamma 2 asked. I mean, I get we're machines, but geez. He was already dead. Even if we wanted to get him to Eri for some reason, we wouldn't have made it. Gamma 1 explained, before looking up. Now let's get back up there and make sure everything is taken care of. Looks like the battle down here is over. Alright, guys, I think that's all of them. Netza shouted as he ran back into the main room inside Monstra, to find everyone had gathered back there. Already healed by Eri. In fact, he noticed a few new faces. A small white-haired boy, another young boy with black hair, and a little girl with blonde hair. All of them sleeping peacefully off to the side and tied up. Hey, who are they? Netza asked, pointing to the 3 new kids. Villains, Sai explained. Or at least they were. We don't know if they still have their memories, or if they're just kids at the moment. Shum. Suddenly, Protoman teleported in. What's the situation? Sai looked at him with a grim face. Izuku was standing in the communications room on the Blue Typhoon, waiting nervously for his people to respond. Sir, I have a report for what happened on Monstra, Protoman reported over the comms. They were attacked by villains sent using Kirogiri's portals. Most of them are fine, and we have no casualties, but Kiba is missing. It's likely she was taken. A cold, paralyzing feeling overtook Izuku, and his breath was seized, as every part of him simply stopped after hearing that. Kiba was taken. Kiba was taken. Those words just kept repeating in Izuku's mind, over and over again. Those bastards. Tokoshi growled, barely restraining himself from pounding on the console in rage. What's more, Eri used her quirk on 3 villains, turning them back into children, Protoman reported. Kyoku has confirmed that the children have lost all memories of anything past the point they were rewinded to. What's more, 2 of the children have been identified as Tuya Todoroki and Tenko Shimura. Tuya Todoroki? Wasn't he dead? Tokoshi asked. Apparently not, Protoman reported. Sir, this Gamma 1. Gamma 1 reported over comms 2 of the ships were stolen, containing numerous fractals, and 2 Choas emeralds. What? This just keeps getting worse. Tokoshi was starting to get overwhelmed just hearing this. He could imagine what Izuku was. Initiate cleanup, Izuku said in a low voice. I want everything back in order, as soon as possible. And once that's done, get everyone ready. We a girl to find, and a man to kill. All for One has taken his daughter, and so Izuku would assure he'd regret it. Assuming he lived long enough to do so.